Hey, fourth grade. This is lesson 13.3 from page 729. So I'm really pumped about this one. This one will be fun. I've always liked finding area of stuff because it's like little puzzles. So that's kind of what this one's going to do with you too. It's going to be fun. It says, Jan is visiting a botanical garden with her family. The diagram shows two rectangular sections of the garden. What is the total area of the two sections? There are different ways to find the area of combined rectangles. So at the garden, it looks like the rose garden is this rectangle right here. And it measures 8 meters by 3 meters. And then here's the herb garden. Let's see here. What's kind of challenging about this one is it's kind of hard to read it overall. But it's basically 4 meters by 4 meters because that 4 is also pointing here. So this is a square and a rectangle. It says, draw the garden on the grid paper, which is what they did for you over here. Say, thanks, book. Thanks for drawing that for me. Then find the area of each section by counting unit squares inside the shape. So in the rose garden, which was the one up here, so this one's the rose. This one's the herb garden. It says count the square meters. So inside the rose garden, there is 3 down by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 across. So if I were to count all of those blocks, I would get 24 because 3 times 8 is 24. And then the herb garden is 1, 2, 3, 4 down, 4 across. 4 times 4 is 16. So it says add the areas, 24 plus 16. Add those together and you get 40 square meters. So if I were to go back in here and count all of these pink squares, I would get 40 of them. So there's another way. You can use the area formulas for the rectangle. Basically, when you're finding the area of combined rectangles, you want to find the area of the smaller rectangles inside, and then you add them together. Or you could also find the area of the missing side too, and then subtract. That's a little harder, but this is really fun. So even if they just gave you this one whole shape, you would try to block it off so that you could find easier to calculate with shapes. So it says use the area formula for each rectangle. So the rose garden, the base of the rose garden was 8 meters. And the height of the rose garden is 3 meters. So base 8 meters times 3. So 8 times 3 is 24, which is what we had earlier. And then the base times the height of the herb garden. Base is 4. Height is 4. So base times the height would be 4 times 4, which is 16. And that's what we got when we counted them earlier. So we add those areas up. 24 plus 16 is still 40. So the total area is 40 square meters. So to find the area of this entire garden, both sections combined, we chopped it up into 2 different gardens, found each area, and then combined them back together. So on page 730 now, it says Greg is laying carpet in the space outside his laundry room. The diagram shows where the carpet will be installed. The space is made up of combined rectangles. What is the area of the carpeted space? So as you can find the area using addition or subtraction, however you want to do it. What I like to do is when I look at one of these pictures, I try to see if I can find, divide it up into something that's a little easier to measure. So the way they did it on this one is they divided it up into this little square into and this bigger, almost square but still a rectangle because it's 18 or 16 by 17. So then if you find the area of the square, or I guess that's a rectangle too, because it's 8 and 9, so it's just barely bigger than a square. Find the area of each one and then combine them back together. That will give you your total area. So rectangle A is, let's see here, 8 is the side times blank, which is times 9. So that is my base times my height of just this small rectangle here. base times my height. 8 times 9 is 72. 72 square feet, because it's in feet. And it's square feet, because it would be, if we were to turn those into a bunch of little squares to fill that in, like we did on the graph paper, it would be square feet would be the measurement. Rectangle B would be, it says blank times 17, so 17 is the sign. And the other side, this width right here is 16. So it would be 16 times 17, which if you're not sure, just go off to the side. 16 times 17. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 4 is 11. 6 times 1 is 6, 1 times 1 is 1. Those together. 272 square feet, same unit. So 72 plus 272 equals 344 square feet. The other way to do it is to do it subtraction. So the way they did it was, oh yeah, okay, this is how they did it. They pretended that to fill in this missing space over here, that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, they turned this into a big rectangle, and then they subtracted this smaller rectangle out of it. It's a little more challenging to do because it's a little bit more thinking involved, but it is definitely a way you can do it. So to find the area of the big rectangle, we would do 24, which is the base of this whole side, times 17, which is the height of the whole side. So 24 times 17. Now, don't judge me for this, but I'm going to use a calculator for this. I know I always say you can't use a calculator, but otherwise your videos are going to be a zillion years long if you watch me sit here and do all this all the time. So I'm just going to quickly do some of these on the calculator just to make your video a little bit shorter. $408. So I'm doing this for you guys. I'm using a calculator just for you. So it's 408 square feet. And then the area of the missing section would be, we know one side length is 8. And then this height is also 8. So this is a whole square because it's 8 and 8 according to these arrows. So 8 times 8 is 64 feet squared. And then we're going to subtract. We're going to take the whole section, subtract out that missing square that's not really actually there, and that'll tell you how much area is left in the actual shaded spot. 408 minus 64. Oops. That one I'm going to do off to the side because there's some borrowing and stuff, so I want to make sure I stay organized. $344, which is what we got another one. So this is two different ways to approach it. Like I said, I prefer doing this way because I like the puzzle part of it, and I like just breaking it down into the smaller chunks. Some of you may want to do it this way because this is what your brain wants to do. It makes more sense to your brain. That's fine. It doesn't matter to me which way you do it. So the area of the carpeted space is 344 square feet. Is there another way you could divide the figure to find the total area? Absolutely, you could. You could have turned this, instead of dividing it here, you could have done it, let me go up here and show you. You could have done it across this way. So then you'd have a 9 times 24 rectangle here. And this one would be an 8 times 16. Multiply those together, add them up, you would get the same number. So yes, there is more than one way to do this, which is also what kind of makes these pretty cool, because there's no one right way to do it. As long as you're careful about when you divide and all of those things, there's more than one way to do each of these. Okay, over to page 731. Explain how to find the total area of the figure. There's lots of different things you could put down here. This total area, they divided it into a square and a rectangle. You could have divided it into two different rectangles. So this rectangle, this rectangle here plus this rectangle over here. You could have done it that way. You could have done it all kinds of different ways. It just really depends on how you want to do it. So I'm not going to really put anything for this one, as long as you understand that you have to break the figure into more manageable pieces, or you have to find the total and subtract out what's missing, which would be, if you did it like this, you'd find your total minus this, total minus this missing piece right here. That would get your area here. That's another way to do it. Either way is fine. So there's a no one right explanation for number one, because there's lots of different ways on how to do it. So whichever way makes the most sense, whether you break it into pieces and add them up, or you find the whole piece and take out the missing piece, whichever way makes the most sense to you is fine with me. This one gets a little confusing because there's a lot of different things written on this one, but as long as you stick to the same idea, you should be okay. You could divide this one here, and so then you have a 3 by 6 rectangle, which I had to figure that out because it was 12 minus the 6, which would be this side, so the 6 over here too. I think it might be easier if we do it this way. Divide it this way. So then this rectangle up here would be 12 times 3, because it's a base of 12 and a height of 3, which is 36. And then this down here would be a square. 6 times 6 is also 36. 36 plus 36 is 72 millimeters squared is your answer for that one. Again, you could have filled in the opposite side, found the whole thing, and subtract out the missing part. It's a little bit harder, but you definitely can do it. This one, I think I'm going to divide it here. This little chunk over here, plus this big rectangle down here. So this big rectangle is, the height is 7, the base is 18. So this would be 18 times 7. Which is, 126. I keep not showing you stuff, sorry guys. And then I've got 10 times 2, which is 20. So I add those together, 20 and plus 126 is 146 square miles. MI is miles. And this one looks really fun. This one, you're probably going to have to divide it into 3 sections, would be my guess. Because it is such a weird shape. I think the easiest thing to do would probably be to do it this way. And you could do, these are 4 foot by 4 foot squares. So that would be 16, 16. And then this would be 4 foot by 16 feet. Because this is 8 all the way here, 4 here. So that means that this is 4. This one would be a really good candidate for using the subtraction method. So I'm going to do that with this one so you can see an example of that one. I'm going to fill in a fake wall over here. I'm going to find the big rectangle minus the little rectangle. So the big rectangle would be 16 times 8. So all the way around is 16, which that's 8. This is 8, 4, and 4. It's also 16. So 16 times 8, which would be the big one here. That's 128. So the big minus the small. The small would be 4 times 8. 4 times 8 is 32. Which means 128 minus 32, 6, 12 minus 3 is 9. 96 square feet. Still measuring in square feet, like I said, because you're going to measuring, it's like measuring how many squares fit into that space. All right, so this one down here, it says, Jamie's mom wants to enlarge her rectangular garden by adding a new rectangular section. The garden is now 96 square meters, or square yards, sorry. What will the total area of the garden be after she adds the new section? So it looks like her old garden was 12 by 8 because this is the old section here. So that would be 12 times 8. $96. And then she's adding this new section. So it wants to know how much it's going to be now that she's got the new part to it too. So this would be 6 times 14 would be this new section. Oops, not 6 times 4. 6 times 14. Sorry guys, I'm having a little hard time with my camera angle today. And that would be 84. So 96 plus 84. Old section plus the new section would be 180 yards squared. Alrighty. Explain how to find the perimeter and area of the combined rectangles at the right. Interesting. So I would do, let's see here. Ooh, this is a good one. I would probably just break it down here. This little section and this bigger section over here. Which, yeah, I could do. So to figure out this square right here, or this rectangle, sorry, I would have to do 12 minus 4 to figure out this side right here. Because this whole length is 12, but I can't use 4 feet of those 12 feet because that's over on this side. So this would be 12 minus 4. Oops. 12 minus 4. And that one is 8. So this rectangle right here is 8 times 9, which is 72. 72 square feet, right? Yep, square feet. And then this little guy over here would be the other part of that 12. So here we did 12 minus 4 because we couldn't use this section of the 12 over here. Well, with this side right here, I can't use this 8 that's over here. So that's why that one's 4. So this one is 4. And then height-wise, this whole side is 9. Part of that side is 4, so whatever's left is what this length over here is. So 9 minus 4 gives me this length over here, which is 5. So this one is 5 times 4, which equals 20. So then I can just add 72 plus 20 to get my area. So that's my area. And then it says, and the perimeter. So it means we have to go back and figure out what that would be. So remember, the perimeter is all the sides added together. Well, we already figured out most of these sides, so that's good. That's pretty easy. So then I just have to add 5 plus 4 plus 4 plus 8 plus 9 plus 12. Okay? So, again, I'm going to use my calculator. Please don't be mad at me. I'm going to do 12 plus 9 plus 8 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5. And that would be 42. So the perimeter equals 42. Just feet with perimeter, because you're not measuring square units on this one, you're just using the length. So you could have gone through the perimeter formula 2 times this side plus 2 times that side, and then for this one 2 times this side plus 2 times that side. But I think in the case of this weird shape, it's just easiest to go all the way around and just start adding them together. Ooh, look at this shape. That looks like fun. I can't wait to do this. The diagram shows the layout of Mandy's garden. The garden is the shape of combined rectangles. What is the area of the garden? So what do we need to find? We need to find the area of Mandy's garden. How can you divide the figure to help you find the total area? I'm not really going to write it out here, but I will draw it over here to make things easier for myself. So I'm just going to do this chunk here, and let's say this chunk here. Again, it doesn't matter how you break it down. It's just whatever makes the most sense for your own brain. Okay? So it doesn't really matter. This one I had to break into 3 sections, and that's totally fine. So the area says what operations we use to find the answer. We're going to multiply to find each rectangle, and then we're going to add them all up to get our total area. So this rectangle right here is 7 times 1. It's a little skinny little rectangle. So that whole area is 7. This square right here is 3 times 3, which is 9. And this one's kind of the hard part. So we had to figure out, we know that this one's 5, what we don't know is how tall this section is right here. But I can use this as a clue. If this whole section right here, this whole line is 3, this one little part is 1, that must mean that this is 2. Oops. 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. Okay. So let's draw a diagram to show how you divide the figure. I just drew it on the picture. It's fine. And then I can add all of those together. I've got 7 square feet plus 10 square feet plus 9 square feet. And that is 26 feet square. So the area of the garden is 26 square feet. All right. Workers are painting a large letter L for an outdoor sign. The diagram shows the dimensions of the L. So it's over there. For the numbers 8A through 8C, select yes or no to tell whether you can add the products to find the area that the workers will paint. So if I were to find this area myself, you could do it 2 different ways. You could have broken it here, and you would have had a 6 times 2 for this one, and this would have been 2 times 8 minus 2 is 6, so that would be that as well. So 6 times 2 and 6 times 2. So that's one of the answers, so that works. Or you could have done it like this, or you divide it this way. So then you have an 8 times 2 rectangle here. And this is 6 minus 2, so this is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So that would be a 4 times 2 and an 8 times 2. And that would be this one up here. So 2 times 6 and 2 times 8 does not work, because that would be like having this whole rectangle, and then also having this whole rectangle here. Well, then we have some overlapping space right here, and that's not part of area. That would be like doubling that one spot of the area. It doesn't work. So this second one doesn't work because that's what we'd have to do, and that's not okay. All right, guys. So here is your homework page to go with it. I think you guys will like these. I think because there's so many different ways you can do them. Whatever your brain likes to do is fine, as long as you keep track of what side you're using and all of that stuff. So if you've got any questions, leave me a comment or send me an email. I will see you in the next video. Bye!